On the menu tonight is chicken with a port wine mushroom cream sauce. Now, this is a dish you can make for relatively cheap, and it's pretty classy as well as delicious. I would say it would go well for any date night. If you're trying to, ball on a budget or save a little money and eat in, maybe treat your significant other to a weeknight meal. For this dish, you will need some boneless, skinless chicken. I happen to only have thighs on hand, but you can also use breast. The only thing that I would suggest is, or what you should do, is you want to slice it in half or slice it thin. You kind of want little cutlets. This is going to cook really quickly. You don't want a piece that's terribly thick. So I would say about 2 chicken breasts sliced in half, pounded thin or sliced real thin. We're going to dredge this in some flour, brown it up, and we're going to formulate our sauce with some port wine, some chicken stock, and some heavy cream, and of course, the star, mushrooms. This is a dish you want to make sure you have enough mushroom. This is not a sprinkle. This is a mushroom sauce. So you want to be able to see it and taste it. So to start, I'm just going to dredge the chicken in some flour, and then we're going to brown it or sear it on both sides in some butter and olive oil. Alright, so I just seasoned the chicken with salt and pepper, and I also seasoned my flour with salt and pepper. Want to season at every layer. You're just looking for this to have a nice golden brown color. It's going to finish cooking in the sauce once we add it back in. The reason why we're dredging it in flour is also because it's going to help to thicken the sauce later on. You can serve this with a garlic mash or rice, whichever you prefer. Maybe even pasta. Tonight I'm going to serve this with rice. I don't have any potatoes on hand. Chicken is nice and golden brown and ready to flip. Got some good color. We're just going to brown the other side. Once each side is nice and brown, you're going to remove it from the pan and get to work on your sauce. You don't have to limit yourself to one type of mushroom, or you have to use white button mushrooms. This is just what I had on hand, but you're more than welcome to use creminis, portobellos, whatever you like. As you can see, we're getting nice color on these mushrooms. As soon as they're all brown, we're actually going to remove them from the pan, add in another tablespoon of butter, and saute the onions and the garlic. We're creating layers of flavor with this sauce. I'm going to saute these up and deglaze the pan with some port wine, which we're actually going to flambe. The onion is nice and translucent, so we're going to get our port wine into the pan. This is half a cup of port wine going in. We're going to flambe it. The alcohol is just going to cook off. Alright. We're cooking with gas, people. Cooking with gas. We're just going to let that reduce down. It smells amazing in here. to this, once it reduces, probably by about half, we're going to add a cup of chicken stock. So now that the alcohol is all cooked off, it's pretty much cooked down, in goes our chicken stock. Just going to bring this to a boil. We're going to get our chicken and mushrooms back into the pan. Mushrooms going in. Chicken's going in. Just going to bring this to a boil, adjust our seasoning, and finish it with just a touch of cream. Probably about a half cup. Sauce has come to a boil. As you can see, the sauce is also starting to thicken up. That's because we dredged the chicken in flour. We're going to get our half a cup of cream in. And this is just going to add a nice richness to the sauce and also kind of mellow out the strong flavor of the wine. You could also do this with Marsala wine if you have it on hand. And we're just going to let this kind of come to a boil. Don't be nervous if you see your sauce is thin. You're thinking, oh no, didn't come out the way I intended. It's going to thicken upon standing. So we're just going to cook this for an additional 5 minutes on medium-high heat. Turn the fire off. Let it stand. I would finish this dish with some chopped fresh parsley. And you can add pasta right in if you want to serve it with pasta. You can, serve it over rice like I mentioned before. Or, of course, it'll go great with mashed potatoes. Okay, folks. I let it thicken upon standing. It's just been sitting on the stove. I've turned the fire off. As you can see, the sauce has thickened up nicely. It's come together for us. It's coating the back of the spoon, which is what you want to see. You can serve it over your preferred starch. One little note I want to add for those of you that want to make this recipe with chicken breast. You want to add your chicken breast in when you add your cream. Right at the end. Because your chicken breast should be pretty much fully cooked when you sear it in the beginning. This is boneless, skinless chicken thigh. So I could allow it to come together in the sauce. Allow it to cook while the sauce came together. And it's still going to be tender, juicy, and delicious. Chicken breast, on the other hand, will become dry and chalky. So you want to add it just at the end, just to kind of let it come together when you add the cream and let it sit off the heat to ensure that your chicken breast is just perfectly cooked, just done. Okay? Garnish with a little fresh parsley and dinner is served. You will wow your significant other or your guests with this dish. I mean, they're going to think you went to culinary school or something. Dinner is served.